What's up guys, my name is Damien, and if you're a barber who works really hard, but it doesn't reflect in everything you do, this class is for you. Today, the barber that grows is the one that knows how to market their brand. It's the one that knows how to attract better clients, the one that improves their skill set constantly. And it's also the one, and most importantly, the one that charges based on what they're truly worth. I've been a barber for 10 years, and I came to the US from Cuba when I was 14 years old. Coming from Cuba, I started attending high school directly here in Miami. And as soon as I graduated, I attended college. I went to the university. I had the pressure from my parents to become somebody. So my major was finance, and I wanted to do something. The reason why I chose finance was because I wanted to do something with numbers. I thought that by working with numbers, that's where the money was going to be, and it clearly wasn't. My first job was at a bank, and I worked there for about 6 years. And even though the pay wasn't bad, I always thought that I was going to move up, and the reality is that I just didn't feel good. I applied to work at another financial institution under a different role. I went away from working directly with clients, and I was working more with investigations and risk. I became a risk and compliance analyst. And even though the pay was even better, it didn't feel fulfilling. And that's when I thought about my dream career. I wanted to be an FBI agent, which I applied to do so, and I went under the process for about 2 years. It was a really long process, and between exams and physical tests, I found myself a hobby. That's when I found hair. But man, I was terrible. I was so bad. It didn't matter how many YouTube videos I watched and how much I studied. I was cutting my own hair because my friends didn't trust me just yet. But one day, everything started to change, and I became better little by little. And then that's when my friends started trusting me, and I was getting more support from my family, from my close friends. And eventually I got the news. I got the news that I was no longer part of the FBI process, and I was eliminated as a candidate. And that tore me apart because I thought that was going to be my fulfilling career. I spent 2 years of my life working very hard to get that job, and it didn't happen. I thought I was lost. I didn't know what to do with my life until I had different conversations, very tough conversations with my wife. And thanks to her, I made the decision to leave everything behind, take out a loan, and open up my first barbershop. I was so nervous that looking back, it wasn't easy, but it was real. Sometimes we think we're lost in life, but in reality, we're not lost. We're just on the wrong path. And I know exactly what it feels to be there. I'm not here to sell you a secret formula. I'm here because I was once where you are right now. Everybody judged my decision, but what I truly needed was time, freedom, and the ability to choose my own schedule. Because when you do what you love, money just follows naturally. What we really want as barbers is to be able to choose our own schedule, is to also choose our own clientele, right? To be able to pick our clients, and also to be able to charge what we're worth. We want to be able to have a business that's also running even when we're not behind the chair. But everything wasn't perfect in the beginning. I had 3 major problems, and these are as follows. First, I undervalued myself. I charged very little for the amount of work that I had. I worked too much for the amount that I was charging. I was charging basically nothing. Second, I didn't know anything about marketing, so I was just relying on referrals and walk-ins, and to be honest, there wasn't any consistency. And third, I wasn't as good as I thought I was, so I understood that I had to keep improving my skills. So if I wanted to grow, I had to get better every single day. The problem wasn't talent. The problem was that I was working without a structure. One of the most important things that I had to understand was that I had to improve my skill set every single day. It wasn't just about fades anymore. It was more about the anatomy of the head. It was more about the structure. It was more about sectioning, partitioning, connections, and disconnections. That's what really mattered when it came to cutting hair as a professional. And when I combined marketing, technique, and self-value, everything started to click. People began to ask me how was I doing specific types of haircuts? How was I able to get more clients to come to the door and ask for me specifically? And how was I able to charge more than they were, right? This didn't start as a business idea. This just started because people were just asking for help. So my fellow partner barbers, they were asking me how was I charging more? How was I getting more clients? And how was I doing specific haircuts? So I was just explaining to them. That's it. But let me explain something very clearly. This is not just another barber course where you learn trendy cuts that stop working tomorrow. This is a system that really helps you to stop improvising and start making real money. The method has 3 phases, and each phase has a specific purpose, because when you skip steps, it shows in the final result. Phase 1 is organizing your foundation. That way, you create a structure to live behind this organization and you start executing with intention and confidence. Phase 2, and the one I like the most, is improving your skills. Is to be able to understand the head anatomy and to be able to understand why we do certain types of sectionings and why we do certain types of shapes, to be able to do any haircut that you want or any haircut that the client will show you when they sit on your chair. And phase 3 is turning that skill into something profitable and sustainable, because cutting well does not automatically mean that you're charging well. Here the focus is growth, projection, and long-term vision. I do not give you shortcuts or empty promises. What I give you is a roadmap to know where you're at and to know what you need to do to get to where you want to get to. When you work with a system, you stop relying on luck and you actually start building a respected career. However, let me tell you something very, very important. You can try this on your own. There are many free tools out there. You can start watching videos on YouTube. You can copy styles on Instagram. You can even do it through trial and error. But how much is that really going to cost you? The process becomes longer, and most of the time, you won't know where you're actually failing. In barbering, this translates to lost clients, damaged reputation, and stagnation. The truth is simple. You will progress faster, you will make fewer mistakes, and you will take less risks than doing it on your own. So let me tell you who this program is for. This program is not for someone that's holding clippers on their hands. This program is actually for that barber that knows that they need to improve their technique. This even for that barber that's already good and they need structure because they need to be booked day after day. We give you the structure and guide so you don't have to walk blindly, but the process fully depends on you. Your progress and your speed depends entirely on your commitment. This works if you follow each step. And each step is designed so you don't make the same mistakes others have already made, including myself. If you're looking for overnight success, this isn't for you. So I would love to help everyone, but unfortunately my time is very limited. I'll be helping 10 people using the link down below. So click on it and I'll be contacting you directly.